So there's a reason why I haven't been strictly just reading out of the Bible, but I have been reading out of other books as well. It's because in Isaiah it tells us it got to be precept upon precept, line upon line, here a little and there a little, and it just makes sense. I mean, when you go and you want to study for something, you don't just go get one book. You go get a variety of books that can tell you everything you need to know about whatever it is you're trying to learn. So that's why I just don't read the Bible. I read other books as well, and that way I can see precept on top of precept on top of precept on top of precept, and I can gain an understanding from that because he really only wrote the parables and allegories for the Jews because they didn't really want to believe, but he said he was going to do a marvelous work for us and be able to have these things for us, and it was going to be plain. This time it was going to be plain. That way all can have an understanding again the way it was in the beginning. See, in the beginning it was plain, and then they got to making all these other books and taking and adding, and it confused people, and it confused God's ways to people. So now that you got people confused, which was obviously a plan to confuse people, it's like, well, how do you know this and how do you know that? When you take away that guarantee, which was the scriptures and their plainness, and you take away that guarantee and then you add something else, it's kind of like, I don't know. It ain't really 100 no more. It's been diluted and stepped on. But when you add precept on top of precept, line on top of line, then you get a greater understanding, and you can be like, okay, well, I know what happened here because it started here, then moved on to here, and then we came to a conclusion here. So that's why it's got to be by the mouth of two or three witnesses shall a thing be established. It's never really established by one thing. The Bible cannot really testify of itself. And that's why in God, with all his wisdom, it's like I'm going to bring all these other things forward in the end times, in the last days, to be able for these last two witnesses to testify of the first, and the first is going to testify of the last. And people going to gain a greater understanding. So you won't be lost in the end times or these last days. You won't be, trying to figure out what's going on unless you want to be like that. So if you want to be like that, that's how you're going to be. But if you want to have knowledge since it's increased, you'll have it if you ask God. Everything going to be preached on the rooftops. Everything will be exposed. So let's read.